And so when I say Chinese, I want you to scream out the nation that's associated with this. For example, if I say Chinese, you're going to say what?
China.
All right, let's say it with authority. When I say Chinese, you say what? China. All right, that's just a test right there. So here we go. Chinese.
China.
Russian.
Russia.
Italian.
Italy.
German.
Germany.
Swedish.
Sweden.
Korean.
Korea.
Egyptian.
Egypt.
Nigerian.
Nigeria.
Black.
Exactly. Nothing. Tell him, Pastor. Tell him, Pastor. Black, nothing.
I hope you were able to successfully identify the issue.
The lion won't sleep tonight, 'cause we woke now, and we woke now. I said the lion won't sleep tonight, 'cause we woke now, and we woke now. They want us to sell our souls to barter profit, like God's property is hard to market. So we steady to aim, keep your eyes on target, 'cause when you got to drive, yeah, they'd rather you park it. But I don't valet, you ain't getting these keys. I'm keeping closed hands, I'm on bended knee. I'm just a reflection, dealing with 8 sections. Art mixed for life, you can feel the convection. Your lion won't sleep tonight, 'cause we woke now, and we woke now. I said the lion won't sleep tonight, 'cause we woke now, and we woke now. I said
The same people that have stripped us of our identity and labeled us as a color have told us what it means to be black and the vernacular that we're supposed to have.
I'm so glad you're here because you can bring great clarity. Can you tell us a little bit about the Sephardic Jews and how they were scattered because they went west?
I sure can.
Because the reason why I want to is because a lot of them, and a lot of people don't know this, are in the Caribbean.
They are.
In the islands.
And you're one of them. I know that.
I'm one of them.
I know that.
Because, you know, a lot of folk don't know that those roots are there. One of the first batches of slaves that came to Jamaica, they were the Sephardic Jews. It's documented.
And they're all over the Caribbean, South America, Central America, and even the South Central United States.
Wow.
And DNA testing is a factor in all this now.
You know what you are? You're an ancient Israelite.
Ancient Israelite, that's who we are. That's who we are. So if you give me time, if you give me time,
But
all that he said,
no, we don't have
so many years.
I know. Look at this. This is pages and pages of
Yes.
notes. And I promise we'll give more teaching. But here is my challenge to you.
All right.
I'm hearing some of your traditions. It's like the days of the Bible.
Yes.
Do you want to remain ancient Israelites or you want to be Jews?
Well, did you accept that black people? You accepted that black people are Jew, or
I'll come to that in a moment.
The entire Bible is about black people. Not only was Jesus black, but every character in the Bible seems to be black too. Yeah, Zephaniah and Jeremiah and Jebediah, those all aren't white people names, okay? And Jesus wasn't some tan, partially melanated Middle Eastern person either. I'm talking straight up black dude, okay? Even in the book of Revelation, when you get the vision of Daniel, he's describing someone with feet like burnt brass and white woolly hair, and we've got the deep running water voice with the red eyes, and you guys, he's black. The Jewish people are black people, like Kanye was right.
Hitler was, and the Nazis, of course, expanded on Margaret Sanger's approach to eugenics, right? Eugenics was a movement that was born in the United States under hard doctrines of racism with the intent of eliminating the tribe of Judah in the African-American community in this country, right? To eliminate them.
We're going to take back our country, and we're going to make Israel great again, and we're going to make Israel great again.
And we're going to make Israel great again.
We're going to make America great again. We're going to make them both great again, greater than ever before.
We're finishing now part 2, chapter 2. And what we've said so far is that people have free will and their actions are, some are good and some are evil. And by the way, the Rambam writes explicitly that everyone has some good actions and some bad actions. Everyone. Everyone. And he takes it for granted that there'll be a variety. We talked about the fact that this world and the next world are asymmetrical. The next world is where the majority of a person's actions, which determine his identity, are compensated. For the righteous, they exist in the world to come and they're rewarded. And for those whose major complexion is black, are excluded from the world to come.
And you know what else, Jim? I just want to say this to our Christian friends, you know, just to call it as it is and say it straight out, you know, you guys are worshiping one Jew. That's a mistake. You should be worshiping every single one of us, because we all die for your sins every single day. And that's exactly what's going on here. Yeah. We're all God's firstborn, and we're dying for your sins right now because the Jewish people in the land of Israel are the bulwark against the orcs. Mm-hmm. Okay? The orcs are coming not to a theater near you, but to your home.
Planned Parenthood was made by Margaret Sanger, a known eugenics, with the KKK to control the Jew population. When I say Jew, I mean the 12 lost tribes of Judah, the blood of Christ, who the people known as the race black really are.
And all they had to do was control our textbooks and keep us all fighting each other. And you're out here talking about what the white man has done. Who do you think tried to genocide the white man in Europe, right? Yeah, take a look at that. I keep telling you, watch that PBS documentary that they came after me hardcore for speaking about. What's the savage piece? Yeah, those are your ancestors, guys. Yeah, you are European, like white Europeans. And here's what I would like to say to you, Rabbi, since you're quoting scripture, okay? The one that's relevant to me is, woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness. And if you'd like to dive into a little more scripture, I think what's relevant is Revelation 3:9. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. And I'm speaking directly to you, Rabbi Shmuley.
This story begins in October 1949, 1 year after Israel's formation. This is when Netanyahu was born, the second child of a historian. His paternal grandfather was a rabbi and a Zionist writer. His name was Nathan Milikowski. Later in life, he Hebraized his surname from Milikowski to Netanyahu, a name which means God has given.
This is Yair Netanyahu's DNA test that has been leaked. You can see right there his Y DNA is RM198. Descendants of RM198 come from Poland, Russia, Germany, and other European countries. Does this look Semitic to you? Does this look Middle Eastern?
And we do have DNA tests, which by the way are banned in Israel. You're not allowed to get DNA tests in Israel.
Ladies and gentlemen, my DNA. Now, I bet you thought it was going to be a lot crazier than that, right? Now, you might ask yourself, why is it illegal to obtain this in the state of Israel? Because it proves through your DNA that Jews around the world have no ancestral ties to the land of Israel. But according to Israeli law, the fact that I have Jewish blood gives me more right to somebody's home and land in the land of Palestine than somebody that has been there for hundreds of years. Doesn't make sense.
There are Ashkenazi Jews who are entirely European. in their DNA. That's why you're not allowed to have a DNA test in Israel, because it will reveal that virtually none of them are Semitic, virtually none of them have any ancestral connection to the land. I was viciously assaulted by a manager in the BBC who had recently converted to Judaism. It's fine. I love all religions. But you can't say I've now converted to Judaism and therefore I have a right to go to the land of Palestine and live in the house of someone whose ancestors have been living in it for thousands of years.
Stop telling people you're chosen. You are not chosen to do ish except within the synagogue of Satan.
Genesis chapter 11, verse 10. Explains the genealogy of Shem. Shem was a black man in Africa. If you repeat this fact, you can't laugh. If you repeat this fact, you can't laugh.
I want to say peace and blessings to you guys. Hope and pray all is well with you guys. I know it's a lot going on. There's so much going on. And, just like how Hasatan does, this beast that we are witnessing as it continue to fully reveal himself to the world. It's this beast, man, this fourth beast is not playing. It's not playing. It's so much going on. And I'm not sure if you guys are aware of or been on top of the news about what took place with Venezuela while everyone was sleeping last night. This commander-in-chief decided to invade the country of Venezuela. And I'm going to allow you guys to listen to what AI had to say about it. I decided to take this president's words and his press conference, and I decided to run it through chat and see how it responds to what he had stated, to his press conference. And I'm going to let you guys listen to exactly what ChatGPT has said. I mean, think about what we're seeing, things that are happening that is unprecedented. Saying that initially he was saying that this country, Venezuela, which is a large piece of real estate, family, it's a large country. It's larger than Germany. But this country, he said that this country those ships were bringing fentanyl to the United States, when it's proven that that's a complete lie, when actually the material comes from, I believe, China, but it doesn't come from Venezuela. And when you listen to the things that he had said, what he had stated, it was all about the oil. He's doing something that you see, for example, Putin do in North Korea. He's doing things like that, like he's a dictator, literally. He took over a country. He arrested the president of another country and his wife. Now, I'm not saying that everything that's wrote that these guys were doing in Venezuela is right. I want to make sure that I'm not saying I'm supporting these people or whatever, the president of that country. But where I'm getting at is he, in a nutshell, sent troops, blew up ships, but sent troops there and literally took a sitting president out of his own country and his wife, now bringing them to the country to try him as a drug dealer. Did not go through Congress. And I'm going to let GPT give you the assessment. Give you the assessment. There's so much going on, family. So much going on. You think it's a coincidence what's happening there and what's happening in Africa and what's happening around the world from these two guys. When I say these two guys, this commander in thief and his road dog, Netanyahu. This is all part of the plan. This is the 1948ers playbook, Netanyahu's playbook. Ignore what's going on within his own local government, because his own local government, right? They're going to arrest him. If you guys think I'm joking, if you don't believe me, go to Donald Trump and look up his speech that he gave with his false, fake peace plan that supposedly he facilitated with Gaza. That the entire thing was fake. It was no peace going on. The 1948s were still bombing the whole night. They're still doing what they're doing. But the thing that he said in the press conference, he asked the government of the Israelis to pardon Netanyahu. So he has to keep these wars going so that way he remains in the position that he's in. Totally ignoring what's going on in his local government. Doesn't that sound familiar? We see this playing out before our eyes. This commander in thief pretty much got a blank check because the Congress has no backbone. It's his Congress because it's a Republican House and Senate, and also the Supreme Court. But they're not providing or giving him any pushback. But everything he's doing is going against the Constitution, right? He's breaking the actual laws. But anyway, why should we be concerned about what's happening there? Well, look what's happening in Nigeria. Trust me, you're going to end up, over the next couple of days, you're going to start hearing Israelis bombing in Nigeria. And I saw some videos of some different countries' expressions not rolling with what Nigeria is doing. Being in cahoots with the very people that made it clear they don't like you. Family, we're seeing prophecy fulfill itself. We're seeing it right before our eyes. Now, I want you guys to watch this video, right? This is Hugo Chavez, right? He's presenting this to the United Nations. This is something that he did I want to say back in, let me look it up real quick. I don't want to be incorrect. So let me look it up when he did this, this clip that I'm pulling from. It's a short clip, but man, it's so profound. When I listened to this clip earlier, I was like, wow. It's a prophetic, it's very prophetic of what he shared. And I'm going to play it here in a second. But matter of fact, let me play it now. All right. Where is it? I had it here. All right. Let me play it now. Where's the video clip? Now I can't find my screen. All right. Here it is. Where is it? All right. Here it is. This is the full clip of what his prophetic words about the devil. Listen to it.
I think that the first people who should read this book are brothers and sisters in the United States, because there is in their own house. The devil is right at home. The devil himself is right in the house. And the devil came here yesterday. Yesterday, the devil came here. Right here. Right here, right here. And it smells of sulfur still today. This table that I am now standing in front of. Yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, from this rostrum, the President of the United States, the gentleman to whom I refer as the devil, came here, talking as if he owned the world. Truly, as the owner of the world. I think we could call a psychiatrist to analyze yesterday's statement made by the President of the United States. As the spokesman of imperialism, he came to share his nostrums. To preserve the current pattern of domination, exploitation, and pillage peoples of the world. An Alfred Hitchcock movie could use it as a scenario. I would even use a title. The Devil's Recipe. In their own house. The devil is right at home. The devil himself. As Chomsky says, here. The devil came here yesterday. And in depth, the American empire is doing all it can to consolidate its hegemonistic system of domination, and we cannot allow them to do that. We cannot allow world dictatorship to be consolidated.
Is that a prophetic, profound word that he gave? Now, that was September 20th, 2006. And he was dealing with Bush. But everything that he said, everything that he stated lines right up with this commander in thief. And while we at it, I just saw, and let me confirm this, that France just struck. Somebody said it's echoing. Let me go ahead. See. Keep doing it. Do I need to replay it, guys? It was echoing. Do I need to play it again? My apologies. If I need to play it again, hit 1. I think I fixed it. I got to remember to mute this channel out when I'm showing my slides, and it wasn't muted out. Do I need to play it again so that way you guys can? All right, I'll play it again, and tell me what you guys think. Here we go. My apologies. Let me play it again for you guys to hear it. This is United Nations 2006, September 20th.
I think that the first people who should read this book are our brothers and sisters in the United States, because their threat is in their own house. The devil is right at home. The devil himself is right in the house. And the devil came here yesterday. Yesterday, the devil came here. Right here. Right here. And it smells of sulfur still today. This table that I am now standing in front of. Yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, from this rostrum, the President of the United States, the gentleman to whom I refer as the devil, came here, talking as if he owned the world. Truly, as the owner of the world. I think we could call a psychiatrist to analyze yesterday's statement made by the President of the United States. As the spokesman of imperialism, he came to share his nostrums, to try to preserve the current pattern of domination, exploitation, and pillage of the peoples of the world. an Alfred Hitchcock movie could use it as a scenario. I would even propose a title, The Devil's Recipe.
El imperialismo norteamericano, y aquí lo dice Chomsky,
as Chomsky says here clearly and in depth, the American empire is doing all it can to consolidate its hegemonistic system of domination, and we cannot allow them to do that. We cannot allow world dictatorship to be consolidated.
El discurso del presidente tirano mundial.
All right. Now I'm glad and hope and pray that that was much better. If that played much better, type 1. I got to remember to make sure that my PowerPoint is muted out before I play any video clips here. So what you guys heard, the feedback, the echoing, that was from the PowerPoint that I have on the screen. Because I had, I didn't mute it out. And so when you're sharing PowerPoints and stuff, or whatever screens or whatever, if it has audio, if you enable audio, it treats that particular channel as an open channel. So input. So I had to mute that out. Okay. All right. So I don't want to mention this. I was, but I doing some research on it. It's not accurate, so I'm not even going to mention what I saw a video come up about Nigeria. So I'm not even going to mention it because I don't want to give bad information. All right, I want to make sure I vet whatever I see. So when you listen to what was stated, and you listen to, and you go back and listen to what this commander and thief has stated, right? He stated about dominating, basically the United States dominating the Western Hemisphere. That's what he said in his press conference, to discuss the situation in Venezuela, right? And so what we're going to do here in a second, I'm going to share what ChatGPT said about it, give its assessment. And we can have a little fun with it. We can ask some questions, right? Just to see. And you guys can help me, kind of ask ChatGPT some questions live. And, and we'll make sure that we do it in a respectful manner, because again, we are being watched. We are, many are trying to flag what we do. But let me start off right now, and I want to keep reiterating this prophetic word from the book of Daniel. I'm not going to go through the whole spiel, but I do want to highlight one key thing about what it says about dark sentences, Daniel chapter 8. So let's highlight this real quick, right? And then we'll go ahead and let AI give its assessment on what we see happening here. All right. So again, Hugo Chavez, he gave the warning. And Donald Trump made it clear that it's all about the oil. And matter of fact, before I do that, let me share this video. Let me share it. I'll go ahead and pull this video file up of what I uploaded earlier.
We're going to run it essentially until.
All right. And I want you guys to listen to what he says. I'm going to go past the here. I'm going to go past what Chavez said. But I want you guys to hear what the president said that ties into what Hugo Chavez said, the warnings about world domination, and and how the country is moving, the United States is moving. And this is going back to 2006. But listen to what he says, right? Listen to what the commander in chief says here in his press release earlier today. Giving clarity on the Venezuela situation. Listen to it.
El discurso del presidente tirano mundial.
In addition, Venezuela unilaterally seized and stole American oil, American assets, and American platforms, costing us billions and billions of dollars. They did this a while ago, but we never had a president that did anything about it. They took all of our property. It was our property. We built it. And we never had a president that decided to do anything about it. Instead, they fought wars that were 10,000 miles away. We built Venezuela oil industry with American talent, drive, and skill, and the socialist regime stole it from us during those previous administrations, and they stole it through force. This constituted one of the largest thefts of American property in the history of our country. Considered the largest theft of property in the history of our country. Massive oil infrastructure was taken like we were babies, and we didn't do anything about it. I would have done something about it. America will never allow foreign powers to rob our people or drive us back into and out of our own hemisphere. That's what they did. Furthermore, under the now deposed dictator Maduro, Venezuela was increasingly hosting foreign adversaries in our region and acquiring menacing offensive weapons that could threaten U.S. interests and lives. And they used those weapons last night. Potentially in league with the cartels operating along our border. All of these actions were in gross violation of the core principles of American foreign policy, dating back more than 2 centuries. And not anymore. All the way back, it dated to the Monroe Doctrines. And the Monroe Doctrine is a big deal, but we've superseded it by a lot, by a real lot. They now call it the Monroe Document. I don't know. It's Monroe Doctrine. We sort of forgot about it. It was very important, but we forgot about it. We don't forget about it anymore. Under our new national security strategy, American dominance in the Western Hemisphere will never be questioned again.
What's your thought? All right, so you guys heard him make reference to dominance, right? You guys heard him use the wording of dominance. And Hugo Chavez warning was almost 20 years ago about dominance, warning the United States about the president abusing its power. It's crazy, man. It's really crazy. So let's go ahead and let's give this prophecy, and then we're gonna go ahead and let AI assess his speech that he gave, his message that he gave earlier at his press conference. So let's first start with here. Let's go ahead and give this prophecy. Daniel chapter 8, verse 23 and 20 through 25. Again, Daniel chapter 8, verse 23 through 25. Let's read it here real quick. And in the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressors are come to the full, a king of Azar, right? In other words, Azar rather, a king of Azar, in other words, fierce countenance, panayam, and understanding dark sentences, kayada or kayad wath or kayada wath, right? The wath is the feminine plural, but dark sentences, that's the ancient Hebrew pronunciation for the word or the phrase dark sentences, that transliterates to dark sentences, shall stand up. So let me read it again. And in the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressors are come to the full, a king of fierce countenance and understanding, dark sentences shall stand up. And his power, kach, power, shall be mighty, but not by his own power, and he shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper and practice and shall destroy the mighty and holy people. Just his time of being in his first year of being a president, right? So much has happened in this year. He has increased his wealth by almost $4 billion. Almost $4 billion just in this year. And now what he's going to do with Venezuela, he's going to send his oil buddies there, all his billionaire buddies. They're going to go there and divide the spoils. And he's going to have Marco Rubio, his staff, basically be a council, so to speak, to run Venezuela. And the vice president that's there, that's stepping in, basically just nothing more than a puppet. Family, the descendants of Japheth are wicked, man. Wicked. This is all they know is raid, invade. That they'll describe, downplay it by saying migrations. All they know is invasions. That's all they know. They always stirring up wars. But look at what this says in verse 25. And through his policy, shakal, through his policy, in other words, think about what's happening right now. Executive orders, record-breaking executive orders, just in this first year. And through his policy, also he shall cause craft, marama, to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and shall, and by shalawah, peace, shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand. Let me read it one more time. And through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and shall, and by peace, shalawah, shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand. So judgment is coming, family. Judgment is coming. Judgment is coming, family. Can't get away. He can't get around it. But this is what we see happening right now. It says here, he shall magnify himself in his heart. He shall magnify himself in his own heart. So let's break this down real quick. What are dark sentences? The Hebrew word here you see here, kayada. I'll say it again, kayada. Dark sentences. Let's break this down. The moderators, we know the troll's going to be out there, so you guys already know what to do. Don't even give them any space. If they trolling, being disruptive, kick them out of the chat. So let's break down this word. Let's see what it means, right? A trick, conundrum, dark sayings, sentence, speech, hard question, proverb, riddle, enigmatic saying or question, perplexing saying or question. He specialized in these dark sentences. But let's break it down even more. Let's go even further with this. Look at here, riddle, perplexing questions, double dealing. Listen to his cadence. Have you guys paid attention to how he speaks? The way that he speaks, the way that he articulates himself, it makes you not want to take him serious. You'll say, oh, that's just Trump being Trump. When actually he's telling you what he's going to do. Now, you guys been following We Woke now for quite some time. You guys, if you guys been following We Woke now for over a year, type 1, remember when I stated, I've been saying that a purge was coming. I was giving the warning. I was doing video after video showing what he was going to do. when he was talking about the Congos, when he was talking about Nigeria, when he was talking about Haiti, I was showing those video clips over and over and even tying it into the purge. Everything that he said he was going to do, he is doing. But it got downplayed because of what? The way that his cadence of how he articulates himself. It's like a riddle. You know, it's like, man, what is he saying? Is he asking a question or answering himself? It's like things overlap. It's like layers. Does that make sense, everyone? Have you guys caught it? Like he could be in one thought, then he'll go, it's like a spaghetti thing. He could be in one thought, but then he go into another thought, then he go into another thought, then he go into another. It's like a spaghetti brain. Have you guys caught that? Let me give some shout outs here. All right. Let me go ahead and give you guys some shout outs here. Let's scroll up a little bit. All right, because I see you guys agreeing with me about his cadence and how he articulates himself. Daily Repentance, want to say peace and blessings to you, in agreement. Let's see here. Pine Hill Productions, in agreement. Shout outs to you. Quataza Yashara Al, in agreement as well. Let's see here. New Ani, and forgive me if I'm mispronouncing it. Charge it to my head, not to my heart, in agreement. Let's see here. Maraway Yas Child, in agreement. Randy, in agreement. Let's see here. Lisa Gibson, in agreement. In Focus to See. Shout outs to you. And also shout outs to Elder Lyons in the building. Really appreciate you, my brother. Family, let's give some shout outs to the elder in the building. Hallelujah. He's in agreement, about the cadence of how this president articulates himself. Let's see here. Arthur Stewart, shout outs to you, in agreement here. Now wait, please don't. Uh-oh. I see you took the from one of my presentations, Pierce Morgan, when I put the hat on him and the glasses and the two locks on the side. Hey, go for it. Really appreciate it. I thank you for even considering using it as a thumbnail. Hallelujah. But no, wait, please don't, in agreement. Kimmy is in agreement. Sister Carol in the building. The professor is in the building. She's in agreement, and I'll drop the link in a second. So, sis, if you want to jump on, feel free to do so. She's in agreement. Let's see here. Sandra, excuse me. My apologies. Sandra Phillips, my apologies. Problems, reactions, solutions. Totally agree, but appreciate you. All right. Let's see here. Arthur Candace Phillips, shout outs to you, in agreement. Really appreciate you. Court of Husbandry, in agreement. Yaquaba, peace and blessings to you, my brother. Really appreciate the support over the years. In agreement. Let's see who else we have here. Jerry Carroll, excuse me. Peace and blessings to you, sister. Hope and pray all is well with you. Thank you for the love and support over the years. Really appreciate you. Hadassah, in agreement. Protected by Yah, in agreement. Man, got to give shout outs to the elder holding it down in California. Hallelujah. In agreement. Shout outs to our elder here as well. Family, show some love. Again, Sandra Phillips, she's in agreement. She says one. Hallelujah. Let's get a couple more in because we got quite a few here. I can't get to everyone, but I get to as many as I can. Janice, she's in agreement. She says one. His cadence, man, his cadence. Piston Honda, in agreement. I got you, Della Repentance. Let's see here. Anyone else? Trying to see if we got any more that we could put in here. Darby Duke, in agreement. So yeah, he has a cadence to him. It's really off, right? Let me play one more clip of him, so that way you guys can really assess it. Get it fresh in your head. Just kind of like how he talks, how he speaks, right? And it lines up to these dark sentences. And I'm going to break down another word before we allow ChatGPT to assess what he says. Let's play this clip right here. This is him promoting the purge, right? Violent day.
They don't pay rent. The city doesn't have money. It's a chain of events. It's so bad. One rough hour, and I mean real rough, the word will get out and it will end immediately. End immediately. You know, it'll end immediately. We are the party of common sense. I knew that once they had open borders, all of the countries, I didn't think about all over the world. I thought in South America, it's all over the world. Last week, a lot of people came in from the Congo, a big prison in the Congo in Africa. Welcome to the United States. They came in from the Congo. They came in from the Congo. They came in from the Congo.
So you hear how he speaks, right? You hear his cadence. So that ties into here dark speeches, or dark sentences. Sounds like a riddle, perplexing questions, double dealing. So let's break this down even more. So let's go to the primitive root word for kayada. Let's go to the primitive root word of this and get a more of a understanding of this word. So that way we could bring it all together, right? As we see here, to tie a knot. So it's like when he speaks, it's like he's tying, it's like in knots, right? Everything is so intertwined, it's spaghetti brain, so to speak. So it also means to propound a riddle. And that's how he speaks. It's like everything's like in knots. That's right. Somebody say he sounds childish, right? He could be on one thing and then he's on another, land on another. So let's bring this all together. So when we see the word shalawa, peace, right? Look at what it says here for our shalawa, what it means in this text. Security. In other words, genuine or false abundance, right? So dealing with this president, he speaks in riddles and he speaks in a way to give what? False security, false prosperity. Does that make sense, family? When we bring it all together, that's what it sounds like. All right. Let me drop this. Let me drop this link here. I'm not sure. I thought I saw Benaiah. If he is in the building, I'm going to drop this this link here for you to jump on if you want to jump on. Because let me see here. All right. So let's drop this link here. And family, eventually what we'll do before we close out, we'll set aside maybe 30 minutes. So that way you guys, if you guys want to give your reactions to it, and I'll let you know when it opens up. All right. But in the meantime, I'm gonna have Benaiah, if you want to jump on, feel free. Sister Carol, I see you in the building. I'm not sure if Berean Scholar's in the building, but I'm gonna drop the link there. So family, as you see here, dark sentences, right? Kayada, and we see this word shalawa, right? Kayada, speaking in riddles. And then when we see shalawa, security, false sense of security. And that's what he does. He speaks in riddles and give what? False sense of security. Part of his false sense of security has to what? Basically use us as a target. They have to plaster our face on, at the front of, or give them an image to rally behind. When they say DEI, right? You know who they were referring to? They were referring to us, but they were the ones that benefited from it, not us. So they have to use us to rally behind. So these dark sentences, right? In other words, speak in riddles and give this false sense of security. And that's what he talks about. Oh, well, I ended 8 wars, all that stuff, man. And anyway, let me bring Benaiah, my cousin, in the building. I want to say peace and blessings to you, cuz. How's it going with you?
Hey, peace and blessings, Pastor Kelly. How you doing?
I'm doing good. As you can see, dealing with the flavor of the hour, right? This commander in thief.
Yeah, can't believe he did that.
Oh my gosh, man! And what I did was I took his press conference that he did earlier, and I took the text and uploaded it to the transcript and uploaded it to ChatGPT, and I was going to play it, let everyone hear what ChatGPT, the assessment that it gave.
Nice.
But what do you think? Cuz what's some of your thoughts of what you see going on in the bigger picture?
Yeah, I think he's playing the long game. I think this all ties back to Iran. And that's only because when Israel and the U.S. were attacking Iran, it's only when Iran closed down the Strait of Hormuz, or they threatened to close down the Strait of Hormuz, and that was going to greatly impact the flow of oil out of that region, and indirectly impact the U.S. And that's when Trump came out. It's like, all right, peace, everybody stop. You start touching their purse strings. That's when they want to stop. And so, if you're playing the long game, if you're the U.S., you have to find a way to offset the interruption of oil in the event that they do attack Iran, enter in Venezuela. Venezuela is right, across the Gulf. Go over there and run their country for them. I'm doing air quotes. take care of their oil, and there you go. And then I expect something to pop off with Iran shortly thereafter.
Yeah, and I know for sure the 1948ers are prepping for Nigeria, to bomb Nigeria.
Wow.
So it's all strategic. It's a lot going on, family. It's a lot going on. Sister Carol in the building. How you doing, Sister Carol?
Hey, my brothers. How y'all doing tonight?
Doing all right. Your mic sounds kind of hollow, Sister Carol.
I'm on my laptop. Let me turn it up. So can you hear me now?
I can hear you. But it's like hollow, so I'm not sure.
Okay,
right,
I'm on my laptop.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if you have like some earplugs, but yeah, it sounds kind of hollow, but we can still hear you.
Hold on. Let me find it. Hold on. I need my laptop case. Hold on.
And so when even with that, I see someone reminded me in the chat about Burkina Faso, right? With Nigeria, right? I believe all of that is to ultimately, attack that country, to take out Ibrahim. If I'm pronouncing his name correctly, hopefully I am. But I believe ultimately they want to take him out because of his position. And I saw a video earlier with some of the African countries representatives really not feeling Nigeria because of its position in buddying, partnering up with the United States and allowing them to bomb their country. So a lot going on.
Is that better?
Let me hear you now, Sister Carol.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. But we'll work on it. We'll have to get you off your Dixie cup and string.
No, I'm on a laptop, darling. I'm not on any kind of Dixie cup. So, you go on with that.
Sister Carol got a Dixie cup because
I got the Dixie cup on lock by Trump.
I understand you're using AOL in your old
I got your AOL
your Nokia old phone. All right. I understand, sis. All right. Let's see here. Let me bring Berean Scholar here. Gotta make sure I add the Scholar on that. You know how that goes. But shout out to you, Berean Scholar. How are you? You're muted. You're muted.
Yeah, I didn't want to interrupt that.
What's going on here? What you guys got? Sister, y'all both got your Dixie cups going on. Sister Carol with the Dixie cup earlier, and
I'm using that high-end Dixie cup.
Or a matter of fact, using the old payphone with the, and so the moment you put your quarter in it, it's telling you have 10 seconds.
It's 75 cents now. 75 cents now. So.
So shout out. See what I'm going to do while we're here. I'm going to go ahead and bring up the screen that I want to do with Chat GPT, because like I said, I uploaded the transcript of his press conference earlier, just to kind of see how AI would respond to it. Let me see here. Is this it right here? All right. You know how you have so many screens open, man. You start forgetting what's what. Sometimes I get lost with, all right, where's my screen? All right, here it is. Let me go ahead and refresh it so that way I get the right one up. All right. I see what you're doing, chat. Chat trying to dip out on. Let me relaunch it here.
Yeah, it's interesting with Trump. I mean, peace and blessings, brother, brilliant scholar.
Peace and blessings, brother.
Yeah. With Trump, it's interesting that they decided to do it. I know they were saying things like, well, we was waiting on the weather to break and it was just perfect, on the Shabbat. Because that's
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. Go ahead, cousin. Go ahead.
No. We're going in the same direction. I was like, that's one of the first things that popped in my mind. I was like, oh, he had to do it on Shabbat. Okay, all right.
Mm-hmm. That's how you know who's connected to it. And yep. I actually and I'm going to do this teaching about I was going back over the past since 1948, all the different things that took place around the feast days, even some of their manufactured incidents. To try to get sympathy. It's always around a feast day. All right, let me share this here. And you guys can tell me if the audio works here. If not, got some reading to do. All right, let's see here. All right, can you guys see my screen?
Yes, sir.
All right, so family, you can see here. I and if you guys can do this as well, let's just say if you listening to a video, you can even do it on this video, right? If you want to vet the information, you could just copy the transcript into a file, which what I did here, into a text file, and then I uploaded it and asked ChatGPT to analyze it, right? So let me go ahead and zoom it in. Can you guys see the screen? Or do I need to zoom it in more? I'll zoom it in more.
That's good right there.
It's good. So you can see here, this is what I uploaded, and I'm gonna go to the bottom of here so that way I could get it processing. All right, let's see here. And let me know if you guys can hear this once it starts. And feel free to provide input. All right, taking a second to process. Let me just make sure this volume is up. All right. All right, dude. Okay. Go to the bottom.
Below is a forensic, text-based analysis of contradictions within Trump's own statements and between his stated principles and described actions.
Can you guys hear that?
Directly from the press
conference.
Yes. Provided on. It is internal consistency analysis. 1. Law enforcement arrest versus full-scale invasion claim. Trump repeatedly frames the operation as an arrest of 2 indicted fugitives carried out in support of the Department of Justice. Contradiction. He simultaneously describes a World War II scale assault, 150 plus aircraft, air defense suppression, cyberspace and maritime warfare, multiple self-defense engagements. These are not proportional or customary to a law enforcement arrest. Why this matters. A lawful extradition or arrest does not require disabling a nation's air defenses, occupying territory, threatening second and third military waves. This contradicts the claim that the action was primarily judicial rather than military conquest. 2, we don't want to run Venezuela versus we are running Venezuela. Claim, Trump states the U.S. does not want to be involved long term and only seeks a safe, proper, judicious transition. Contradiction. He also states, repeatedly and explicitly, we are going to run the country. We're there now. We'll run it until a proper transition takes place. U.S. officials, generals, and cabinet members will govern. U.S. will rebuild and control oil infrastructure. Elections are delayed indefinitely until U.S. conditions are met. Why this matters. This is not transitional support. It is open-ended occupation, contradicting claims of Venezuelan self-determination, claims of temporary involvement. Respect for sovereignty versus open rejection of sovereignty. Claim. Trump frames the operation as defending Western Hemisphere stability and sovereignty under historical doctrine. Contradiction. He explicitly states the Monroe Doctrine has been superseded. U.S. dominance will never be questioned again. Venezuela's leadership has no choice. The U.S. will decide who governs and when. Why this matters. This contradicts any claim of international law adherence, sovereignty protection, non-colonial intent. The doctrine invoked is no longer defensive. It is unilateral dominance. For no boots on the ground versus boots on the ground. Claim Trump attempts to soften public concern by minimizing troop presence. Contradiction. He admits, we had boots on the ground last night at a very high level. Ground forces engaged in firefights. Continued presence tied to oil operations and security. Why this matters. This directly contradicts prior political assurances often used to reassure the public and Congress. Head 5. Peace through strength versus threat of repeated escalations. Claim. Trump characterizes the operation as peace-preserving and stabilizing. Contradiction. He repeatedly threatens larger second and third waves, military action against other Venezuelan officials, implied warnings to Cuba, Colombia, and others, continued military options until U.S. demands are met. Why this matters. Peace is framed as conditional on total submission, not de-escalation, contradicting the stated objective. Number 6, stopping drug trafficking versus selective justice. Claim, Maduro's arrest is justified by narcotics trafficking. Contradiction. When asked about pardoning another convicted drug trafficker, Honduras, Trump responds that individual was persecuted. Political alignment justified clemency. Why this matters. This undermines the stated moral rationale. Drug trafficking is treated as an absolute crime for adversaries, a negotiable issue for allies. Number 7, this costs America nothing versus admission of massive costs. Claim, Trump claims the operation and occupation will cost us nothing. Contradiction. He acknowledges billions in infrastructure rebuilding, long-term military presence, oil revenue used to reimburse the U.S., American companies fronting massive capital. Why this matters. If the operation were truly cost-free, reimbursement language would be unnecessary. Oil extraction would not be framed as repayment. This frames Venezuelan resources as war compensation, contradicting claims of altruism. Number 8, freedom for Venezuelans versus no Venezuelan choice claim. Trump states Venezuelans are now free. Contradiction. No election timeline is given. Opposition leaders are dismissed. Leadership is selected through U.S. consultation. Military and economic control remains external. Why this matters. Freedom is declared before any self-governance exists, making it rhetorical rather than factual. Hasher 9. Congressional authority versus executive unilateralism. Claim, the operation is portrayed as necessary and urgent. Contradiction. Congress was not notified beforehand. Justification given. Congress leaks. War-level action taken without legislative approval. Why this matters. This contradicts constitutional war powers norms, claims of legality and restraint. 10. Not about oil versus centrality of oil. Trump insists the operation is about security and justice. Contradiction. Oil is referenced as justification, as reimbursement, as reason for occupation, as strategic necessity, as future revenue source. Why this matters. Oil is not incidental. It is structural to the plan, contradicting claims of humanitarian motive. Bottom line, the press conference contains systemic internal contradictions, not isolated slips. Arrest versus invasion, transition versus occupation, sovereignty versus domination, justice versus selective enforcement, peace versus permanent escalation. These contradictions are not interpretive. They arise directly from Trump's own statements, often within minutes of each other. If you want, I can traditions against international law. compare them to.
All right, what do you guys think? Did ChatGPT give him the really read what's going on accurately? You know, what do you guys think of what was stated?
Yeah, no, it was perfect. Perfect. I mean, I thought the same thing when I was listening to him, because if you listen to his press conference live, I mean, that's the thing that you kept hearing him tripping over his own words.
Well, he was reading a script. Let's be honest. Let's be real about it. That wasn't him really saying that. That was someone who wrote that for him to write this up there and read to the public.
Yeah, well, it's still his, though. You know, whether it's a script or not, it still represents he represents that.
Of course, and it's exactly what this tool just told us, which we already knew anyway.
And when he reads the script, he can't help but ad lib. When he ad lib, he contradicts himself.
Well,
that's when he was tripping over himself.
Yeah, he was trying to make it his own, but it wasn't his own.
Yeah. I mean, it nailed it though, right? I mean, when you listen to everything that just said, I'm sure each one of you guys were thinking the same thing, because when I listened to it, I was like, what did he just say? You know what I mean? When he was saying about it's not going to cost anything, but then it's going to cost. Mm-hmm. He said that that people needed to, are relieved and, being freed and all this other stuff. But then you hijacked their entire government. It was so many different contradictions inside that one little press conference and things that he stated.
Of all of us on this call, you have the military background, but knowing what he pulled off simply when the witnesses that did a press conference outside of the Capitol, he had a military jet flyover, just to interrupt their press conference. That alone cost millions of dollars.
Exactly.
Just a flyover. So to have a military presence around the borders of Israel and a strike, there's no way that costs nothing.
Well, see, and you guys know this too, there's money in restoration, right? When you bomb something, when you try to implement the acts of war, so to speak, they bomb. We don't even know the magnitude of what they did. All we're going off of, for the most part, is whatever he shares, which is unprecedented. So the restoration of a territory is going to cost buku money. He's going to outsource it to his buddies. Remember, Bush did that with Desert Storm, right? They all do it. Whenever there's war, there's money in the restoration of that territory that they bombed. So they now get their buddies that have their own businesses, and then they contract the work to them. That's how, what's his name, Perot? Remember what's his name? Rob Perot, whatever his name was.
You mean Ross Perot?
Perot, remember him? He was a billion. He made billions off of that. That's how he made his money off of war. And also, what's his name? Bush, Dick Cheney. He cleaned up at over there in Iraq.
Cheney was deeply involved with Halliburton. They made a lot of money. In fact, Trump himself, during his press conference, went and said that he's given it to some companies here in the United States. So
let's
that's
go way
just
back
big
to Reagan.
money.
Reagan made money off of war, so let's start there first.
Oh yeah, well, not just Reagan. I'm just saying all of them.
They all do. They all do.
Because remember with what's his name, Oliver North or whatever, with the weapons under Reagan. When Reagan was like, he don't, what was the famous thing that Reagan has said, like he can't remember, something to that effect, and they put the receipts right in front of him.
Was that contra wars and the guns?
Yeah. But at least they have, some type of process. You know what I'm saying? At least they this guy. I mean, it's like you can't even keep up with all the things that he's done since he's been in. It's just Carol, you and I was talking about this. He only been in office for a year, and it seemed like he's been in office for like 8 years.
Exactly.
With all that he's done in just 1 year. the executive orders, and I think Berean Scholar, you pulled up the numbers, what, about 4 or 5 months ago, and he broke records. I can imagine where he is now.
Yeah, January 20th will be an exact year. And that's how much damage he's done since last January 2025. Walked in the door with a pen.
And the very thing that he was knocking Joe Biden with, right? The auto pen.
Yep, the auto pen.
So, I mean, it's unbelievable with all what we're seeing. I mean, we done witnessed so much in this block of time that the Most High allowed us to live in. We see the awakening taking place. We see information being released, that's at our fingertips that wasn't there. I mean, we're just seeing so much. What are your thoughts, Benaiah? Because I know you talked about this a few times about information being at our fingertips and things like that.
Yeah, no, I'm just amazed, man, because I was 2-3 weeks ago, me and my wife, we were actually on a cruise down in Central America, and the whole time that we were down there, we were like, man, I hope Trump doesn't start a war while we're down here on the cruise ship, have us jumping off and getting in one of the those side countries or something. But yeah, thankfully he waited till we got back home. But the whole thing, I don't know about you all, but I know after I heard Trump's, I got the notifications from social media, because that's the thing about it. Nowadays, you get notifications from social media before you will from mainstream media. So I got those notifications from social media that they had started the attack. And one of the first things that popped in my mind was like, man, how long, Most High? How long are we just going to let these wicked people get away with all this stuff?
Yeah. I mean, that's where I'm at with it, man. It's like one thing after another. It's like, when is it going to end? When is it going to stop? And when you look at the continent of Africa, and then I'll see if I could find a video I was listening to earlier, but the guy was like he made a great point about how the other nations don't really respect Africa, because none of them have a nuclear bomb, a nuclear weapon. Said that they don't take them serious. He alluded to that, and he was talking about Nigeria, as big as Nigeria is, and with the people and all. And he was saying how it's like they're conceding so much of, power and authority that they can really, demonstrate towards the Western powers that can help rally the other nations. And it's like they're not seizing the opportunity to kind of lead the way.
And just like you said, this is a targeted one of the many targets against us. And it's time for us to rally our sources. We need to be fasting and praying and being about the Father's business, to waking up our people, because time's growing nigh. Time is growing nigh.
And I'm going to put a scripture here, and if you guys have some questions to kind of, and family, those that are watching, if you guys want me to ask some questions, reasonable questions now, to ChatGPT about, let's say, prophecy. I'm just going to put this prophecy there, what we just covered with the dark sentences, and we're going to see what type of live response we get off of it. So let me see here. Do the Daniel 8. I think I said 23. And I'm going to just ask a question here, right? You guys can tell me what you think.
And Pastor, while you're doing it, I know I came on a little bit late because I was doing something else. But I know you pointed at all the other things that's going on with Somalia and China hitting Taiwan, surrounding Taiwan. What's the country? China is up in there, assault on Taiwan. All these things are happening right now.
Yeah, so much is happening, and it's because of when you start seeing things out of balance. It's like you'll see other nations start falling in line with their agendas. Because what could he say? What could he do?
There's no check. There's no check and balance on the world level. You're right.
Yeah. Now I'm going to drop this in here. Let's see how ChatGPT responds to it. How does this line up to this prophecy? Right. And let's see here.
Oh, it's trying to break it down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You see what's going on right here? Double speech.
Yeah, I think I saw somewhere somebody put or made a comment about the wicked one comes to what, kill, steal, and destroy.
Yeah.
And it applies to what's going on in the world. You got over in Venezuela, they're literally trying to steal their resources, and same thing over in Nigeria. Because like I said, I don't think any of these things are independent situations. I think they're all connected. They're all top of the oil pile. And we talked about Nigeria before. I forgot the name of the Nigerian billionaire that owns that big oil refinery that's over Nigeria. But he was the one that was building it out. He was going to increase the capacity, and it was going to make he was going to vault Nigeria almost to the top, not to the tippy top of the list, but they were going to be in like the top 5 oil producing countries in the world. And one of the statements I made was that that's literally ringing the dinner bell to the wolves.
Exactly.
And they did that, and all of a sudden, you got you're attacking Christians. Now, granted, he's talking about Black Christians, and not one time, because you know how Trump always liked to use those colorful acronyms and adjectives, but not one time did he describe them as Black. He just kind of he purposely, in my opinion, left it vague so that people can kind of fill in the blank as to who is actually being attacked over in Africa. But make no mistake about it, they're attacking Black folks over there, and Trump is under that cause. He's over there bombing folks over in Nigeria. Now he's over here bombing people over in Venezuela and kidnapping folks, in my opinion. It's crazy.
But when you hear people in that area who's actually saying what's going on, it's not just Christian, it's Christians, Muslim, and a lot of people being attacked. But he used, like you said, he's using that as an excuse, as a scapegoat to give an excuse that, that's why we're going in. And then in fact, I think one resource said if you want to go by numbers, it's probably more Muslims there than is Christians.
Yeah.
Wow. And this is interesting right here. I was just kind of reading while you guys were having dialogue, and just some of the things that are pointed out here, where it says here, by peace shall he destroy many. This is the centerpiece of the prophecy. Prophetic meaning, not war masquerading as peace, but peace weaponized. All right. And it says how the alignment, every justification rests on peace, stability, security, transition. Yet the actions suspend sovereignty, delay elections, threaten further violence. This is destruction through the language of peace. And it says that he shall magnify himself in his heart. This is not arrogance alone, and it breaks it down, but it says alignment. The press conference is saturated with only I could do this. Other presidents failed. Perfect record. I watched it live. This is self-evaluation into the role of necessity. Any thoughts, guys?
Yeah, they are the primary deceivers. I was trying to pull up that scripture where it says, the phrase that, when they say peace, peace, or in safety, certain destruction, that's like the MO of, the 1948ers and our we're just in the U.S. They'll invite people to the peace table. Hey, and they did this over in Lebanon, because you wonder how the guy ended up getting taken out over Lebanon. Well, it's because he was on the phone. They told him that, hey, we're going to do peace negotiations. So he comes out of his bunker and he's going to the place where I guess he's going to have some sort of conversation about peace, and then they blew it up. Israel did. And then same thing with what's going over in Gaza. They sent the guys, told them that there's going to be peace, and they went down to what's that? I forgot the name of that Middle Eastern place. Oman? It's not Oman. It's somewhere around there. They sent them down there, and they're trying to have peace negotiations, and they took it out again. Same thing. When they say peace, peace, sudden destruction.
Yep. And
I was trying to look for that text too. Go ahead, Scalaway.
And I was watching a reported on Al Jazeera, and they were saying there's large banners all over Jerusalem with Trump's face on, with King Cyrus is alive, and how he's renewing and renewing Jerusalem, and in all in the name of peace and renewal. They're genocide, bumming people, all in the name of peace.
Yep.
I was trying to find that passage because I think I taught on that a while back.
On which one? You mean
I was looking for it.
What, the 1 Thessalonians 5:3?
Is that it?
Or was it a different one? And to Brother Berean's point too, just kind of laying back on what you were saying, they're doing all that, and they're not the people. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, all these lives been now. Granted, the Most High, he was. I tell people, it's like I have to keep reminding myself, he knows everything that's taking place. Like we're doing this history teaching and research and stuff like that, and we're only getting a small snippet of the whole of the breadth of it. But the Most High knows everything. He knows like all the stuff that all these countries have done, all the dirty stuff. And who knows? I mean, maybe they're getting a little payback for what they had done to our people. And in fact, when we talk about Venezuela, one of the first things that I did was I wanted to know where Israel was in Venezuela. Like I started to look up the Afro-Venezuelans, and
I did the same thing. Yep.
Yeah. And what and actually, while you all were talking, I was trying to find my video because I remember reading a reference where I was reading about the Israelites being in Guyana. I mispronounced it when I said it, but it was like Guyana, and it was talking about, I believe it was talking about this place off of Venezuela. So our people were there. Our people are probably still there. And the blessing that's associated with our people, I believe it was given by Isaac, and that is the blessing was that we were going to live in the I got to pull it up. It's like the best places where all the resources and stuff like that. I'm kind of paraphrasing here, but Esau is definitely trying to come and take those resources.
I'm just typing some here too. Sister Carol, you kind of quiet. Any comments?
No, I was going to say all this stuff that we are watching and witnessing is supposed to happen. All these things the Most High is allowing to happen, and we are to watch and witness history being performed in front of our eyes. It has to happen in order for him to do what he has to do. We're sitting here worrying about what's going to happen, why we're going to do this, what we're going to do that, when we should just be concerned with when it's all over with, he's coming. Let this stuff happen. Stop worrying about what's going on and just let it happen. It's supposed to happen. Trump is in office for a reason, to let all this stuff start happening. I'm totally convinced of that now.
I agree with you, sis.
And you have to recognize it and come to reconciliation inside your spirit to understand that this is supposed to happen.
And I'm kind of on both sides of it. What I mean by that is, we know that things are going to play out with the fulfillment of prophecies, but there's still behaviors and things, not behaviors, but there's still things that we can do, even though these things are fulfilling itself. When we start seeking safety and things like that, those are things that come with the territory of being, of course, we talked about being prepared, and now what is going to be our course of action as we see these things playing out. Because, and I understand your point from a perspective of not trying to stop whoever is doing what they're doing as they carry out prophecy. But I think that there's still an expected response that's going to take place versus let's just say we know that the scripture says, Deuteronomy, they're going to come and take our children. I don't expect anyone to sit there and say, well, hey, this is fulfilling prophecy, let them take my children. So no, my point, like I said, I'm agreeing with you to the point of prophecy is going to play itself out. But on this flip side of it, there is expected responses from our end. You know what I mean? Of course, we trust the Most High and how he allowed things to play out. But then there's an expected response that we have to have, an expected, how can I put it, an anticipation. Not necessarily just saying expected response. But what's that?
I said within your means of control that you can do.
Yeah.
I think we were talking earlier, Pastor, that not only response, but we need to prepare ourselves, because if you remember, like we talked about when the Most High brought our ancestors out of Egypt, they saw the tribulation of Egypt. They had to see what happened in Egypt. They all that thing they knew. So we're going to see a lot of stuff. Things going to happen.
So what you're saying, Brother Berean, is that we're not going to be able to run away from it?
It's not like the Christian rapture. We're not going to be taken away from it. And and I think did you find that verse you're looking for, brother? I think of 1 Thessalonians 5, and they call it peace, peace, peace. Then suddenly destruction come upon them.
Yep. And that's what they've been doing to the T. They'll call these peace negotiations, and then everyone that's in their bunkers will come on out, and they'll name a place. Oh yeah, we're going to meet over here by this tree, and then everybody goes by the tree, and they blow the tree up. That's what they do. But to land back on what you were saying, Brother Berean, and I guess Pastor Kelly, you were talking about the flea doctrine. With all this stuff that's going on, it's easy to I can see how people can say, well, oh man, if we got this crazy president over here, I'm leaving. I'm gonna go over to Nigeria, and then of course they go over to Nigeria thinking they're running away. Then guess who's over there? Right? Trump.
All I want to know, all I can say, I'm gonna sound like a little Big Red here from 5 Heartbeats. I'm just an old country boy, but I do take care of my artists, right? But remember, we talked about this, right? Remember, I got a lot of flack about it, right? Because it's saying, hey, many are saying flee, but it's like when you read the prophecies of Gog and Magog in Ezekiel, it talks about other countries in Africa lining themselves up with them. So to Sister Carol's question, where are you going to run to? And we see it playing out right now. Certain countries are lining up with these our oppressors, whether it's the United States, whether it's with Britain, whether it's with China, whether it's with Russia. They're still being divided. They're still being despoiled. People are, they're still coming out and kind of like dividing up the spoils among themselves. And it's like where our, brothers and sisters are allowing this to happen. They're not even, many of them, because of their own individual, greed, is now throwing the entire country under the bus that they represent. Anyway, Sister Carol, I know you was going to say something, but just thought I'd put it out there. Like, people thought I was a troublemaker. You know what I mean? When I was dealing with that doctrine, remember? And
Right.
now look at what we're seeing.
Yep.
And to your point, Pastor Kelly, so I was down in Belize, right? And the guide was showing us around and saying like, "Oh yeah, you guys can come down here and buy some land, and you can actually own it and all this other stuff." And while we're on the bus and he's driving through the countryside, he's pointing out different buildings and stuff like that. He's like, "Oh yeah, that building over there, that's where the CIA and FBI are. They're located right over there." It's like, what? Because in the back of my mind, I'm like, "Oh man, this might be a good little spot." You know what I'm saying? It's like, "Oh." So he said that, I was like, "Oh, forget it." Like, they're located all over the place. I'm gonna just stay home. I'll stay in the U.S. for now.
Man, I'm nervous for even leaving myself, man, just to go on vacation because, now they looking at your YouTube channel, your social media channels.
Yeah, to let you back in.
Yeah.
And let's be clear about this wilderness foolishness. We're not going to any wilderness.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's you're going to be inside your house. It's like when we had the shutdown during the so-called COVID situation. Where were you? You was in your house. You didn't run anywhere else. You was in your house locked up. You can be locked in your house again.
Sister Carol, you instigating now.
No, I'm being for real.
I'm just messing with you, Sister Carol.
And I'm blocking anybody else coming and chat and say anything else stupid. Getting blocked.
I love her.
Now, I went on and asked a question here, and let's see how ChatGPT responds, because you have to put things into certain wording so to remove some of the fluff that they try to give you. I put here, what are the prophecies that may align with this behavior? Not saying Trump is the fulfillment, but I'm focusing on the actions such as policy or number of executive orders. So look at what it said here. It's pretty interesting. Because you know how sometimes you the way that it's they hack this AI, now you got to word things a certain way, or it may call you hostile, like it was calling Berean Scholar one day. Like
emotional.
Yeah, like you say, hey, told him I don't like your tone.
He said, "You trying to say I'm an angry black man? Come on, what you trying to say?"
But this is pretty interesting here, and this is some of the things that's on record.
You're framing this correctly.
Let me see it.
You are not identifying a person, but examining behavioral patterns, policy, decree volume, executive authority, peace through force, legal administrative dominance. Scripture actually does this a lot. Below are other prophetic texts that describe the same mode of rule you're isolating. I'll keep this pattern-based, not sensational, and anchored in the text. Prophetic patterns that align with policy-driven power and executive authority. Book of Daniel 7:24-25. Law, decrees, and administrative overreach. Open quote. Daniel 7:25 KJV, and he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws. Close quote. Key pattern, power exercised through legal mechanisms, governance via policy restructuring, fatigue through constant decree, reform, and enforcement, alignment with your focus. Think to change, actually change creation. It means redefine governance, calendars, jurisdiction, norms. Massive executive orders function exactly this way, not overthrowing law outright, reframing it continuously. This is bureaucratic exhaustion, not open tyranny. Book of Daniel 11:21-24. Power gained without election or consensus. Open quote. And in his estate shall stand up a vile person, but he shall come in peaceably and obtain the kingdom by flatteries. Close quote. Key pattern. Authority consolidated without traditional legitimacy. Uses administrative leverage, strategic appointments, legal instruments. Not a coup, a procedural takeover. Alignment. You're noticing policy volume, executive reach, consolidation of agencies, emergency-style governance. Daniel 11 shows power acquired by process, not rebellion. Book of Isaiah 10, verse 1-2, decrees as instruments of injustice. Open quote, Isaiah 10, 1-2. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed. Close quote. Key pattern. Law itself becomes the tool of harm. Oppression occurs legally. Suffering is procedural, not chaotic. Alignment. This text is crucial because it condemns policy, not personality. The issue is what is written, not who writes it. High volume executive action is exactly what Isaiah warns about. 4, Book of Habakkuk 1:3-4. Law paralyzed by overuse. Open quote. Therefore the law is slacked, and judgment doth never go forth. Close quote. Key pattern. Law exists but loses force. Justice becomes inconsistent. Policy overload causes confusion, delay, selective enforcement, alignment. When governance becomes constant reaction, law stops guiding and starts chasing. This is a hallmark of late-stage systems. Nah 5. Book of Ezekiel 7:23-27. Crisis rule. Open quote. Make a change, for the land is full of bloody crimes, and the city is full of violence. Close quote. Now, key pattern. Crisis used to justify extraordinary authority. Fear accelerates compliance. Governance becomes emergency-based. Alignment. Emergency language plus rapid decrees equals normal safeguards bypassed. Power centralizes temporarily. Temporariness becomes permanent. Number 6. Book of Micah 2:1-2. Policy crafted in advance. Open quote. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it. Close quote. Key pattern. Policy is pre-planned, executed early in the morning, legalized wrongdoing. Alignment. Executive orders often appear sudden, but are prepared well in advance, rolled out rapidly to control narrative. 7. Book of Zechariah 11:16. Authority that consumes the flock. Open quote. A shepherd that shall not visit those that be cut off. Close quote. Key pattern. Governance focused on control, not care. Systems maintained, people neglected. Efficiency replaces compassion. This aligns with technocratic dominance, not emotional tyranny. Non-remark area. 8. Book of Revelation 13:5-7. Authority by permission. Open quote. Power was given unto him. Close quote. Key pattern. Authority is granted, not inherent. Operates through systems, institutions, compliance, temporarily successful. This mirrors Daniel 8:24. Open quote. Not by his own power. Close quote. Key takeaway. This is important. Scripture consistently warns not about one man, but about how power behaves when it matures. Executive concentration, legal overproduction, crisis justification, peace rhetoric masking coercion, policy replacing morality. You're reading prophecy the way prophets intended. Open quote. Watch the deeds, not the names. Close quote. If you want next, I can. Trace how Yahawasha echoes these warnings.
All right, what do you guys think? I know that was a mouthful.
It's like Benea talking.
I thought the same thing. I said, how'd you get that?
Are you Chat GPT, Benea?
Right. Hey, they can clone anybody now.
I know.
They can clone anybody. All you got to do is run some videos through
it. To vet you, are you real right now? Is this really?
Beep, beep.
A lot of the stuff that he said, that stuff they've been doing forever. You know, all the unjust laws enforced on us since we've been on this land. But what he's doing in this administration, the emergency powers given to him temporarily become permanent. That's what he's forcing for.
Yeah. And early, I guess when it was first getting started, it was talking about, he would speak great words against the Most High. I know that's kind of getting to prophecy and stuff, but one of the things I was thinking about when, all this stuff with Gaza and Trump, and, him interjecting himself over in that region. And one of the things Trump said, he was like, I'm going to put a golf course over there. And, I guess the plans came out that he was going to put a golf course and casinos. And think about that. I was like, man, you mean that this person is so arrogant that he thinks he's going to be able to put a casino on the Most High's land?
Yes. Well, they have homosexuality over in the Most High's land. So
they do. I'm just thinking about that wrath, that anger, that righteous anger. I'm like, man.
Yep. Well, this is the same man that has his name on his own building in New York, and on his plane, and on his helicopter, and everything he owns, he has Trump on it. So that's not surprising. That didn't shock me at all, him saying that. In fact, I expected him to say that.
If you guys remember you remember the little workup they did with what they're going to do in dressing up the place. They had a giant gold statue of him.
Yeah, and he loved it.
Wow.
I said a giant gold statue of him there in Gaza.
Are you serious?
Yeah. They
had a draw up.
They erected it. Yeah.
Yeah, they had an AI video and everything.
Yep.
With him and Netanyahu sitting out in there, on the beach, so to speak, enjoying it.
Wow.
Posted it online.
He is a true textbook documented ICD-10 CM DSM-3 narcissist.
Break it down, Sister Carol.
I ain't heard that in a while.
Break it down, Sister Carol.
People want to go around calling narcissists. No, they don't understand. That is a textbook study, sociopathic narcissist, one who thinks highly of themselves in a godly-like way. That's what Trump is.
So basically, Sister Carol said he cray-cray.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Professor. Break it down. That's your area.
Yep.
Sister Carol, I ain't heard that since mental health days. I mean, you can go ahead and break that down because he don't have the ability to have empathy for anybody else.
No, because he has to be adored. When you seek adoration all the time, and you set yourself above all others, and you set yourself high as a high priestess type of situation, you don't think about anybody else. You only think about yourself. Not even his children, because his children are basically reflections of him. So he adores them because they adore him. They exalt him. That's what a narcissist is.
Yeah, somebody in the chat put there is a Trump Heights over in the Golden Heights.
That's
already.
Wow.
He got his Trump shoes, Trump phone. What else he put out? Did he put out a Trump record yet? Trump CD, Trump track? I'm waiting for him to do that. Trump.
And just as a public service announcement, then like I said, we're not endorsing any one of the sides, but in him doing what he's doing, what I'm here for is the people that is going to hurt initially are the ones who was bagging him.
Yeah.
Those people are going to get hit hard because they weren't expecting all this stuff to be taken from them and their kids to be sent over into these wars. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah. Well, and family, and I know we're having a little fun here, joking around, but we are bringing some serious information to you guys, and we started really tracking some of the things that he's been doing, like with remember earlier, I think Benaiah, you, I, and Berean Scholar, we discussed his executive order on identity management. He did an executive order on identity management. And in that executive order, he restricted, I believe, at least 12 countries, primarily from Africa, but like they would use the institution of race constructs, brown and black people, right? And, but it was labeled identity management. And I found that to be a very interesting name or title for that executive order, even though he was restricting all these countries, like I believe Nigeria was on that list. The Republic of Congo is on there. Sudan, Yemen. It was some other ones that's on there. but I found it interesting that they used the label identity management. Matter of fact, I'll bring it up here and you guys can discuss it. But let me see here.
Yeah, I believe a lot of those countries were right in the heart of what historically was called Negro land, probably with the exception of Congo. But yeah, I think it was like I think Chad may have been part of that as well. But there were territories that were historically associated with the children of Israel.
And the people that's behind this policy, the Steve Millers, I forgot the gentleman who's over the Project 2025, but those are people who are coming up with these titles and stuff. They had those agendas against us.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Yeah, it's almost like with a lot of this stuff. I think there's there was a hidden hand, but nowadays it's starting to become exposed. Like the 1948ers, their influence. I think you're starting to see a lot of that being exposed in social media. But yeah, I believe a lot of the driving force behind that, it's their agenda, that's being pushed over here in the States. And that a lot of the politicians over here are compromised because they got caught up in some of that Epstein stuff or some of that wicked stuff that's going on. Or you found it, Pastor Kelly. I see you got the Trump executive order.
Yeah, go. But I just wanted to put it on the screen for you guys.
Yeah, Haiti, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, Yemen. That's where the members say that their
migration,
their migration / ancestry traces through, not from, but through Somalia, Libya, right over that area. Haiti, that's all in that area.
Eritrea, that's another area.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I think what's her name?
Yep, Tiffany Haddish. That's where she went.
Her father was from Eritrea.
That's where most of the limits came through. Some stayed.
Yeah, so a lot of times when you see these wars and stuff, when you hear about them bombing places, our tendency is not to, it's kind of to tune that out. But it's just that if you knew the history associated with that certain place, like for instance, when the U.S. was bombing Yemen, one of the places that they bombed repeatedly was Sena, a place called Sena, and the average black person may have been, they just heard that and just kept on going about their business, not knowing that their DNA traces back to Sena because the Limba's DNA traces back to Sena, and it was proven by Tudor Parfait.
And so, as you see here, what's interesting, initially was 12 countries, and then it had limited entries to these 7 countries. And then you see here, Burundi, Cuba, Laos, Sierra Leone, Togo, Turkmenistan. I don't want to pronounce, I'm butcher it, but is it Turkmenistan, or whatever? Venezuela. You see, they were already on their list as well. It's just interesting, as to your point, Benaiah, how this stuff is playing out in Sudan. And Benaiah, you could provide some history on that as well, as far as with the foreign Judah. As far as that name, foreign Judah.
Yeah, that's something that people, you can, even to this day, you can look it up in Google Translate and translate it from Hausa to English, and type in Udan, which is Yudan, and then kind of just highlight the answer that Google presents to you, and it'll show you that it is Judah. Because Udan, as far as like historically, that name used to be spelled Soudan. Even in some old books, you'll see it totally separate, or 2 different words, Soul and then Udan. that came together to make that one word. But yeah, it meant the foreigners of Judah. Both their Hebrew words, so that's not the root word, but so, and then Udan as a derivative of Judah. So yeah, foreigners of Judah, and you see that's where a lot of these conflicts are taking place, where our people are located. I'm just wondering if they're trying to take them out, or I'm not sure what the play is for the enemies.
Yeah, that's. I mean, as soon as you think you have an idea of exactly what the agenda is, you know how it goes. It constantly moves, and a lot of the things that is presented, you know what I mean. It's, we're kind of like 2 weeks behind. You're playing catch up on some of the stuff, and you're still trying to piece it together.
The news report I saw was that was citing some of the places that Netanyahu was bombed in 2025. Some of the Yemen and a couple of those places he highlighted, and then the other ones on the list are some of the other places that have a lot of conflicts going on already. They're having a lot of war going on. All these areas, ultimately, it's part of their crafty council trying to get rid of us.
Yeah. I was just looking here to see if there's anything else I want to highlight. But yeah, family. The biggest take out of what we just this discussion tonight is, we got to be ready to take action. I think that we're beyond preparation because of everything that's going on. We need a course of action. What are your plan of action for what's going on? As Sister Carol pointed out, with everything going on, what are your plans, your course of actions with everything that's constantly shifting before us? What are your plans that you already have in place, to fortify where you are? And those are some of the things you have to give deep thought and really understand that you have to have a strategy, because this enemy is not playing. It is not playing. And Benaya, we talk offline even with some of the things that with the organization and the things that we have addressed as well. Is so much going on, in the way that this administration is doing. They're taking the flood the zone approach. Kind of what ChatGPT alluded to with the wearing out of the holy people of Yah and Daniel's. So that's what flooding the zone would do with all these executive orders coming in the door. I think Berean earlier, you pointed out there was over a couple of hundred executive orders just within the first few months. So it was like so many things were happening, you didn't even have time to catch up with it. Remember, as soon as he came in, it was like this executive order, Doge, shrink down the government. You know what I mean? Get rid of the watchdogs. Planes crash. You know what I mean? It was just so much that was hitting all at one time.
Stir up chaos.
Yeah. Calculated. What do you call it? Organized confusion.
Yep.
So you don't have time to really keep up with everything that's going on. Real quick, let me get some I see 2 super chats here. Thank you, Elder, for the love and support. Love you, Pastor. Keep going, Pastor. All love to our family. Really appreciate you, Elder. Thank you for the love and support. Really appreciate you holding things down, or should I say, over in California. Also, thank you. What is this? No PP. Nope. I don't know. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. I'm trying to make sense of it. Excuse me if I butcher it. And I'm not laughing. That's Berean Scholar laughing. Right.
Whoa.
I'm just picking with you guys. But thank you for the love and support. And family, let's show them some love for the love and support tonight.
Hallelujah.
Really appreciate it.
Hey, Pastor Kelly, if I could just make this one quick comment, and because you were talking about action, and you're right, but we talked about this actually in our organizational meetings of the African Israelite Justice Foundation. And most High willing, family, I'd say we have a tentative date out there, but I have a feeling that the date's gonna be pushed out. But we're looking to have a virtual conference where we can kind of talk through some of these things, as far as what we can do as a community to prepare for for what's happening around us. I know when the organization was first founded, there were tools at our disposal for us to be able to get some wins underneath our belt within our community. But sure enough, how the enemy does what it does, it took some of those things away. Like, for instance, we used to be able to work with the Department of Justice to actually get some of our cases reviewed, settled, and and get some wins, right? But they took that away when Trump came into place. So just to show you that there was a wicked, evil hand that was watching what we were doing to try to shut down, kind of cut us off at the bend, so to speak. So what we're having to do now is kind of redefine or reinvent our approach to try to get certain things done. So we'll, most like I said, most High willing, we'll kind of share some of that stuff. We don't necessarily want to put too much of it out there because, like I said, the enemy is listening as well. And as soon as they figure out that, they got a little wiggle room over here, then they'll go over there and try to muck that up as well. So, just be on the lookout, family, for an invite to join a virtual conference. Like I said, it's going to be a good 2 or 3 months out, but definitely plan on joining if you can.
Absolutely. Appreciate you sharing that, Benaiah. And family, we're not going to hold you guys up. We're just going to go around the room here. We'll start with our professor in the building, Sister Carol. Anything you want to share, Sister Carol? You gave some great information. Really appreciate it, especially giving people clarity on the narcissist as far as the medical terms on it with the behaviors that we see. But any additional thoughts you want to share, sis?
Yes, I want to go back over this wilderness comment again. Someone else popped in the chat that had to allow them to exit quickly with a block. We live in the 21st century. We do not live in the desert. We do not live in tents. We're not riding camels. We're not riding, well, we do ride horses here in Texas. We do not do anything that is remotely how it was back then. When that scripture was written, it was written during a time where they did do that. They did go out into the wilderness. Our wilderness is in our home. You will be at home with your family. If you have other family, other places, you will try to get them all in one location. And you will hunker down in that home until whatever situation is going on outside is completed. That is your wilderness, is your safety of your homestead around you. That's what that's talking about. Seeking safety with your family, protection.
So you mean to tell me we're not going as we got millions of us scattered around the world, probably if I estimated easily 70, 80 million of us around the world, we're not going to all gather and, meet up at Central Park in New York. No, I'm just joking, but we're not going to go to a particular location and wait it out. We're not going to go into the Congos or nothing like that. That's what you're saying, Sister Carol?
They can go if they want to, but Carol won't be there. I won't be in New York, and I'm doggone sure not going to be no Congo. They can go there if they want to, as they already seen those who have fled and went to the second exodus. These other countries, another looking a little special right now, special ed. And you ride on a little yellow short bus. But use some common sense when you read scriptures. Because it sounds like you need to ride a little yellow short bus with a helmet.
Now, Sister Carol.
I'm being real. I'm not playing with people no more.
I used to drive those buses.
Well, you need to go pick them up. Off the horn. Flash the lights. Okay, that's
but family, we do have to make sure that we're applying the scriptures properly, and the reason why I say that is because, even when we look at, when Christ dealt with the prophecies in Matthew 24, when he said that some going to say he is in the desert. He's not, this is where we got to understand idioms and personification.
Yes.
You got to understand those key words, because when we look at an idiom, an idiom is pretty much, for those that are not familiar that are watching, that's like terms like it's raining cats and dogs outside. That's an idiom. Personification is adding a gender to an object, like referring to the moon as let's just say as a she, and the sun as a he, or your car. Many of us may call our cars Betsy or whatever the case may be. Though, we got to understand those terms, because if we just go off of what Christ has said, they're going to say Christ is in the desert. If we took it for what it says, then we may be looking for Christ to be saying that the deception is going to be he is in the Sahara desert. You know what I mean? We got to make sure we understand it in this proper place and proper perspective. When it says that he is in the desert, that's saying he is in isolated places. You know what I mean? He's, and that's when we have to make sure that we properly apply and understand those two key words, and of course metaphors and things along that line, so that way you're understanding what the scriptures are actually saying. And that's part of the problem when people are looking at the scriptures. To Sister Carol's point, they're trying to take it literal, and this vision of the the setting for the ancient Israelites, let's just say 2,000-3,000 years ago, and thinking that that's what's going to happen. The same thing is going to happen. We're going to, instead of being at that time, let's just say 4 million people, maybe a little more than that, give or take, to now we're got to be at least 70 to 100 million of us scattered around the world. Yeah. So what's going to happen? We're going to all come to a wilderness. We all going to jump on whatever special ship, or the Atlantic Ocean and some of the other oceans we may be scattered to, going to open up, and then we all going to centralize ourselves, almost 100 million of us, to the Congos or whatever forest that, or wilderness or whatever you may deem, whether it's a desert or whether it's actual forest. This is where we have to really properly apply the text and understanding those key words. And I hope that makes sense to you guys. And I may have to pull, like Berean Scholar would say, go into the milk crates and pull that lesson out when I was just teaching on those key words. All right. Anything else you want to add to that, Sister Carol? Because I know that, again, sometimes people, can't make the distinction between those key words that I pointed out.
Absolutely. You hit it all on the nail for me. It's just time for us to stop playing with scripture and really understand it. It's time out for these kind of games. We don't have time for it anymore. It's time to get serious about the word. And there's so much is being unpacked from it now. It's just unbelievable. And it's all around us. You can touch it. You can touch the word now because it's all on you. You see it. It's visual now. And you have to respect it and understand and put in perspective of what is being said to you as it is today.
Yeah.
And that's all I have.
Yeah. And great point. And family, we're not getting all into that tonight, and we can, if we need to have a discussion, give you guys proper perspective on even the wilderness. But let's not, try to debate this in the chat, because you're not going to win any arguments in the chat. You can someone posted a scripture about the wilderness. We understand the text, and the point behind it is, are you properly applying the text? Right? Are you properly applying what it says? especially given the amount of people that we have, right? Again, there's over 100 million of us scattered around the world. Okay, so again, we could deal with that another time, but I just don't want to get into that. Let's be respectful inside the comment, and we'll just leave it at that. Brian Scholar, like the symphony. Next up is you.
Just to take what Sister Carol one more step is the enemy. Hasatan is focused, and he's busy. We're seeing what's happening in the news. You're seeing what our leadership doing. You see what other world powers are doing, and yet we can't have a platform where people can be educated, people can be uplifted, and us be able to find out who we really are, because of what we're talking about right now. Now, that's why I want to mention that. But it is time for us to know the truth. It's time out to be messing around with these trivial things on wilderness or second, all that stuff. We need to know the word, because the time is drawing nigh. We need to be those who are rightly dividing the word of truth. And that's what we need to focus on. And when we know who we are and the power we have, that's one of the reasons that there's so much confusion, so much stuff on the name and who else. That's authority we have to call down certain trials and tribulation. You said that before, Pastor. We need to walk in that. But when we won't walk in that, if we can't come together and know the word.
Absolutely. And certain things, family, and I just take the approach, there's certain things we just got to let the Most High sort out. You know what I mean? Right. We're not going to sort out everything.
That's my.
And anyone that says that they have every prophecy sorted out, they're lying to you. I'm just telling you like it is.
Correct.
And you have some geeks here. I think Benaiah, he reached the 12th level of geekness. Right?
Yes,
and
he's
so,
ChatGPT now.
He is the AI. Right? AI is using him as a reference.
He's artificial Israelite.
He matter of fact, he is the original hack.
That's right.
He is the original intelligence. He's OI.
Hacker Israel is his code name.
Old school AI.
So, but again, family, let's not get, and I think that's part of the problem, especially when we deal with not just in this awakening, but people that call themselves teaching the scriptures, can get so caught up in certain things within the text that some things you just gotta just say, hey, the Most High is going to sort that out. We already know he has a plan. In some arguments, I just don't even engage, especially Correct. Now. It's like, it's not even worth it. What are we dealing with right now in front of us?
Right.
Are you going to think about the wilderness when you go to that supermarket and you find out how the price of food has gone up?
That part.
Are you thinking about going into a wilderness experience? Or are you thinking about how you're going to handle those situations in front of you, like we were talking about a course of action? Because now you can't plan for prices going up because they already gone up. You can't plan for the food pantries and the food banks to be empty because now they're already empty. So what is your course of action? And sometimes we can get so caught up in conversation. And that's when you start reading about the so-called theologians, especially when you look at the time of, what's his name? I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but he really helped push along the, I can't think of the theology right now, the Calvinist theology. But during that time, right, they were actually murdering each other on their disagreement of what grace is. literally killing each other.
Wow.
Where's one of my
Murder
old school
grace.
books? I got one of my old school books, and maybe in my other shelf. I had to take a class called the Theology of Grace, and it blew my mind that you had people that's supposed to be teachers, educators of the word, and over the theology of grace, they were killing each other because one believed grace starts when you are in the womb, while another believed that grace starts when you outside the womb. One believed, killing each other over the theology of grace.
Wow.
And we're exhibiting that same behavior on certain things. That's just, it's one of those things like, hey, some things I'll just say is above my pay grade. That's kind of like a military term. Like, look, I'm not going to concern myself with certain things because, again, why are we concerning ourselves with, I'm just using that as a example, the wilderness.
Yes.
And you can't even I'm not saying to the individual here, but many are struggling to even understand how they're going to live past their checks to make it to the next payday.
Especially things dealing with Christmas.
And I'm telling you guys, we can talk about Africa, but look at what's happening in Africa. Look at what's happening in Africa. And this is the point that Benaiah, myself, and others were trying to make. It's like, look, you need to fortify where you are. Because this system is a worldwide system. When we talk about this beast, this manipulation, we're seeing it right now. So when you look at Joseph with the interpretation of the Pharaoh's dream, right? Pharaoh had time to what? Set aside. But if Pharaoh didn't take heed when that famine came, it's too late for him to set anything aside. Kind of like the 10 virgins. 5 was prepared while the other 5 wasn't prepared. But then the 5 that wasn't prepared, all of a sudden, they start trying to what? Prepare themselves. And it was too late. So let's right now not major in the minors. It's all that other stuff, man. I don't get caught up in certain conversations because to me, what is it going to do when you have that person coming to your doorstep and they need food to eat? What are you guys going to do? Are you going to tell them to go to the wilderness? Are you going to tell them that, hey, it's time to believe in the second Exodus, or just wait on the Lord? Just wait on the Lord. He'll renew your strength. And I'm not trying to mock it, but I'm telling you real scenarios. Benai, am I correct? We're dealing with certain real scenarios. These are the things that people are dealing with.
Yep.
And we cannot make the mistakes that we see that's happening in the church here in this awakening, because I see the same patterns.
Exactly.
We came out of that. So why are we still dealing with stuff that we see them making that institution making errors? I'll use this as one final point. When you study the battle where the 3 kings had joined, you had the king of Israel, the northern kingdom, the king of Judah, the southern kingdom, and you had the Edomite king. Yeah, that's right, family. The Edomites. All 3 of them had to unite because the Moabites was coming and they was taking them all out. They did not care about their internal differences of who has the blessing among themselves, who has the birthright blessing, who has this. They didn't care about what Jacob did to Esau, what Esau did to Jacob, and they didn't care about that. That threat don't care about that. That threat just see collectively all of them as a threat. This threat that we just presented here with Donald Trump and all that, Donald Trump don't care about the wilderness. If anything, he want to see what he can do to exploit the wilderness. He don't care about any of the things that we're concerned about. He just see us as a threat. So we have to let go of this stuff, man, and start looking at the bigger picture. Maybe that's part of the problem. Maybe I have to change my position and not treat everyone like everyone is a watchman, because not everyone is a watchman. Because a true watchman understand what I'm saying. Because if you're a true watchman, you will not major in minor things. You're looking at the bigger picture. You're constantly looking at any type of vulnerabilities that can be exploited by those that's trying to come and the wolves that's trying to prey on our people. So maybe that's it. Maybe, I have to take in consideration that not everyone that are responding really understand what a watchman is, because you got to be wired a certain way to be a watchman. Not
Right.
everyone that says that they're watchmen are watchmen. You're wired a certain way. Like we would say, you have a certain uncouth, you could be a little uncouth, you could be a little cray, right, Sister Carol? You got to have a little, when you look at David had a little cray in him.
Yes, he did.
You know what I mean? But where I'm getting at it, and going back to the point that I'm making, and I don't want to sound like I'm preaching to you guys, but to be a watchman, you have to have a certain disposition. You have to have a certain discipline about you, because you're constantly watching, you're constantly looking, you're constantly combing, you're constantly making sure that you're looking at all four fronts, so to speak. So again, if you say you're a watchman, get out of these trivia conversations that will distract you from really protecting the flock like you should. Amen. We'll do this again. Go ahead, Sister Carol, then Berean Scholar, you got it, and then bringing up the rear, jumping off the top rope, Benaiah.
We already win. It's time for Benaiah.
Time for Nash time. We did our part.
Okay.
I mean, it's time for Chat GPT to go.
Yeah. It's time for Israelite AI.
Somebody's going to coin that one, Sister.
How you doing? BI, right?
Somebody's going to coin that one.
BI, Benaiah Intelligence.
Oh, no. I just want to, thank you for having us on, Pastor Kelly. It's good talking to you. Good, great conversation, great discussion, great talking with you, Brother Berean, Sister Carol. Yeah, this awesome discussion.
Hallelujah. And family, we really appreciate you guys. And real quick, Benaiah, and you guys, I know you guys didn't share it, but if you guys have any projects that you're working on or something that you want to share, at least tell the people about your channel. Just going to put that out there and then drop it inside the chat real quick before we close.
Yep. Well, Benaiah Israel channel on YouTube, and also HebrewConnect.tv. That's HebrewConnect.tv. Look for the Benaiah Israel channel on there as well. And I guess I'll grab the link and I'll dump it in the chat.
I'm on. Berean Scholar.
Yes, we have Berean Scholar on YouTube and also on Hebrew Connect. You can look us up. And please feel free to join us on tomorrow. We have a live around 5 o'clock Central, 5 o'clock Eastern time, and 4 o'clock Central time.
I'm laughing because you sound like you was like when you listened to the airline pilots.
And also you can use your seat cushion as a flotation device.
I'm sorry, man. I must be sleepy, right? Not the old school
ready.
You must be sleepy.
You're
You're giggling all the time. You must be sleepy. No, but that's what came to my mind. You know what I mean? What's that? The airlines that cheap airlines that a lot of people use.
Spirit.
You know how to be talking to them. You can barely understand.
Why it had to be the cheap one, brother? Why had to be the cheap one?
It's soul playing.
I'll just pick up a super red scout. But with that being said, family, stay encouraged. And I want to close out with this thought of Exodus chapter 14, verse 13 and 14. Fear ye not, stand still, see the salvation of Yahweh. These Egyptians, this commanding thief and their whole group, all of them, regardless of who they are, French, all those guys, these people would never have power over us ever again. Ever again. Here's the kicker. The Most High will fight for us. But the kicker that we have to do is hold our peace. The Hebrew word that's inside that text is charash, which means be quiet. Shout outs to Psalms 83. Thank you for the super sticker. And with that being said, family, can't go back, can't stay here, keep moving forward. Shalom.
Listen, Genesis chapter 11, verse 10 explains the genealogy of Shem. Shem was a black man in Africa. If you repeat this back, Genesis 14, verse 13, Abraham steps on the scene. Being a descendant of Shem, which is a fact, means Abraham too was black. Abraham, born in the city of a black man, called Nimrod, grandson of Ham. Ham had 4 sons. One was named Canaan. Here, let me do some explaining. Abraham, Isaac was the... Jacob had 12 sons, for real, and these were the children of Israel. According to Genesis chapter 10, these were the children of Israel. According to Genesis chapter 10.